10 starts now.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. State leaders are following through on a plan they've talked about for weeks now. The idea is that not every single county is experiencing the same COVID-19 pandemic restriction. COVID-19 is not being impacted equally by COVID-19, so restrictions won't be the same. Governor Tate Reeves says the latest steps of targeting a handful of counties with new rules is a way to protect lives and livelihoods.
What's been suggestions from many in the state will now be requirements for a handful of counties in the eastern part of the state. Those are Attala, Leake, Scott, Jasper, Neshoba, Newton, and Lauderdale counties.
Customers of all retail shops are required to wear face coverings in those counties, and masks are required at outdoor public events like flea markets or live auctions.
There are also specifics on how employees of all businesses in those counties should be screened each day. State Health Officer Dr. Thomas Dobbs makes this note about the areas under the new restrictions.
In those eastern counties, they have a significantly higher burden of disease even in the Jackson metro area, including surrounding counties.
There are many food processing plants within the area of concern, but Dobbs says that most cases under investigation are not from those employees. Local officials have expressed concerns about a lack of social distancing at gatherings, and Dobbs points this out.
The other thing about these communities is there tends to be a lot of people working in one location and living in another. They seem to be very well integrated and knitted together in a way that it made a lot of sense to let them work together.
So what if you don't live in those counties? It's not back to normal for you.
I'm still urging you to be smart, to stay safe, to recognize that the virus is still in your community.
Courtney Ann Jackson, WCBI News.
Reeves says from a statewide perspective, they'll continue to focus resources and testing at long-term care facilities where the risks are increased. And as a reminder, the entire state is still under a safer at-home order, but those over 65 are still being asked to shelter in place. Meanwhile, West Point shoppers and store owners will have to wear a mask for 2 more weeks. Now, the measure went into effect yesterday at all retailers and for customers over the age of 6. Tonight, the Board of Selectmen extended it to May 25th. Many city leaders believe customers wearing a face mask will help prevent the spread of the coronavirus. Some customers and shop owners have voiced their displeasure over the rule. An attempt to end the ordinance failed at tonight's meeting. After nearly 2 months, dentists' offices are opening wide again, and dental care has been limited to emergency cases. But now dentists are cleared for routine procedures. As Stephanie Poole reports, things will be looking a little different when you go in for your next filling.
The staff at Mitchell Dental Clinic in Macon is all smiles. Marketing Director Colby Mitchell says under the stay-at-home orders, the clinic had to cancel most of its appointments. Now they're ready to get back to work.
For the last month, we've been doing emergency-only services, trying to keep people out of the emergency room, and the dental board told us to open back up starting this week to start doing cleanings and full treatment.
During the state's lockdown, Mitchell says an increasing demand for medical services spread throughout Noxubee County.
The thing that we saw, especially over the last month, is just how many people really needed to see a dentist. A lot of smaller clinics might not have been able to stay open during this time, but we did.
And to make sure the doors stay open, he and staff are using a new protocol to keep everyone protected from the virus.
All of our systems are designed to make it as safe for the patient as possible on a normal day. We're just amping that up a little more. There's a new procedure of showing up to the dentist where you'll call us before you even come inside, and we'll get you checked in, do all of your paperwork in the car, do temperature checks, just to make sure that our staff is safe and the other patients that are coming behind you as well.
Mitchell is urging all clients to practice safety measures before entering the building.
It's very wise to bring your mask in whenever you come into the clinic. you know, you'll have your mouth open whenever you actually get into the chair, but our staff is going to be completely masked the entire time that you were in there. We struggled to stay open, but we wanted to make sure that we did that as a service to our patients and to the local communities.
Reporting in Noxubee County, Stephanie Poole, WCBI News.
Now, the office will continue this protocol as long as there is a threat of COVID-19. Tattoo parlors have the green light to reopen. Bobby Martinez talks with a tattoo shop owner in West Point who says the time off has been difficult, but he's happy to finally be back in business.
As businesses here in Mississippi continue to reopen, the tattoo industry will have a new way in communicating with customers, and customers must follow a certain protocol before receiving their tattoo.
It has been very frustrating.
It's been a challenging time for Robbie Kuhn in recent months. COVID-19 forced his tattoo shop to close for an extended period of time, leaving him with the feeling of uncertainty on if his shop could bounce back.
I felt singled out.
Kuhn says being forced to close up shop made him feel voiceless.
Even though we go through tremendous trainings and stuff to make for sure we have everything up to standards and sometimes beyond standards, it felt like all of a sudden we didn't count. We had no voice, no nothing.
But on Friday, that all changed. Governor Reeves announced that businesses like tattoo shops can reopen, but must follow all strict health guidelines. And one of the new requirements when coming into a tattoo shop is making sure your temperatures is checked and also your hands are washed to make sure not only you're safe, but also the tattoo shop as well.
For the time being, we can allow any public to come in through the open door. We have to keep the door closed. We have to take appointments. And once you come for your appointed time, you have to knock on the door. We have to guide you through some kind of, almost like a dam, where you go through different stages where we have to take your temperature, ask you some personal questions about your health and stuff.
So before you book your appointment, make sure you are aware of all the safety guidelines provided by the tattoo shop. In West Point, Bobby Martinez, WCBI News.
Now, the shop says they've had a high volume of people wanting tattoos or piercings since they've opened back up, and they're asking clients to give them a little extra time to return messages.
Not too bad of a day today. It looks like we'll have some clouds and some sunshine in our future for Wednesday. Here's our planner hour by hour in Bruce. We start out in the upper 50s. Around 80 degrees in the afternoon. There's a chance for a stray shower or storm out there. Most spots will not see it. This evening in Tupelo, you can see our setting sun there with our Alpha Insurance camera network. Now, there's actually a little bit of rain in parts of North Mississippi. Very light stuff here from Holly Springs to Corinth back into West Tennessee. Most of that will stay across the far northern tier, so just about all of us will not see any rain tonight or tomorrow for that matter. Down into the 50s for lows here, and as we just mentioned, back into the upper 70s, if not low 80s. And there is a slight chance for a shower or storm on our Wednesday. Your full 7-day forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks a lot, Keith. The coronavirus isn't keeping the Supreme Court from hearing oral arguments. It's just changing the way they do it. For the first time, justices are working remotely. CBS's Jan Crawford has more from Washington.
Oh, yay. Oh, yay. Oh, yay.
With the traditional call to order, the justices went to their phones, and Americans could listen. The questions in a clash over constitutional powers were sharp. Justice Sonia Sotomayor.
There is a long, long history of Congress seeking records and getting them.
The stakes are high, whether Democrats investigating President Trump and a New York district attorney exploring whether his campaign paid hush money to adult film star Stormy Daniels can subpoena the tax returns and other financial records he has long sought to keep private. The Supreme Court has told other presidents to comply with court orders. President Nixon in Watergate, President Clinton in the civil lawsuit by Paula Jones. But some justices, like Chief Justice John Roberts, seem troubled by the scope of the investigations. Even liberals like Justice Stephen Breyer indicated there has to be a stopping point.
The fact that what I hold today will also apply to a future Senator McCarthy asking a future Franklin Roosevelt or Harry Truman exactly the same questions, that bothers me.
A decision is expected this summer. Jan Crawford, CBS News, Washington.
Now closer to home, parks all across the state are allowing people in, but things aren't exactly in full swing. In Columbus and Lowndes County, for example, playgrounds and pavilions are open, but things like community centers and even bathrooms are still off limits. As Cash Matlock explains, park directors don't have the money or the people to keep up with the new guidelines.
For the most part, it was a quiet day at parks in Lowndes County. Sandy Ruffin and her granddaughter, Reagan, were among the few people to venture out.
Oh, come on out. It's safe, everybody's distances, and, you know, it's very safe. I feel real safe. And my granddaughter, Reagan, she loves it out here.
Ruffin says she feels safe because she takes precautions while out in public.
I wipe everything down when we get here and then when we leave.
In fact, both Lowndes County and the city of Columbus rely on people like Sandy Ruffin to sanitize these public areas.
Well, there's not a budget for that, and what we do is we have to do the best that we can, and you know that there are limited supplies right now because, you know, everybody wants the same type of supplies, but we have in our plans where we're going to possibly periodically come and spray down the playground equipment, the areas where children most often come in contact with.
We don't have the personnel that we can come out here every day and wipe down. That's one of those things where the individuals and we feel like the parents have got to take some precaution themselves.
Both park directors and members of the Caledonia Baseball League are planning a meeting on May 14th. They hope to all be on the same page when it comes to starting up their summer sports programs.
It's hard for me to imagine that we can keep 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-year-olds 6 foot apart. You're going to have kids in dugouts, so, you know, and everybody's touching the ball. You know, a lot of times you got situations where kids use the same bat.
With more people sure to make their way to the park over the next few days, Columbus Parks Director Greg Lewis says it's important to take precautions.
Please practice a safe distancing of 6 feet. Please don't have too many that are going to be gathered, and please bring wipes and sanitizer with you and make sure that you know keeping your hands clean and proper as often as you can.
Now, there's no official word on whether sports programs will continue in Lowndes County this summer. A decision is expected to be reached by Thursday. And it was a nice day to be out at the park or on the golf course.
All right, yeah, and tomorrow you may want to hit the golf course up as well. I've noticed more and more folks out there out and about. Tomorrow we will get back into the 70s by midday, low 80s in the afternoon. Probably more clouds and sunshine. Can't rule out a stray shower storm, especially in the afternoon. The full forecast next.
WCBI First Alert AccuWeather Forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
The official start of the Atlantic hurricane season is June 1st. And let's check out the names for this upcoming season. The A storm, the first one would be Arthur, and the list goes all the way down to the W storm, Wilfred. Now, every so often we'll get a storm to develop before the official hurricane season starts, and that would be sometime in May. And there's actually a possibility of that sometime this weekend. There's a 70% chance of some development northeast of the Bahamas, east of Florida going into the weekend. If it does develop, it would be moving away from the United States. No threat to us here across the northern Gulf Coast, but just a sign of things to come perhaps later on the season. Here's our first alert forecast for tonight. Our first alert forecast, Riley Marie. Little Riley getting ready for a day tomorrow. Wednesday, we start out in the upper 50s to around 60, variably cloudy. A mix of clouds and sun during the day, mid-70s by noon, and in the afternoon, upper 70s to low 80s with a chance for a stray shower or storm. Now, some of you could be holding back into the upper 70s here, Pontotoc, New Albany. We're painting 80 for you in Tupelo, 83 in Vernon. Winds from the south and southeast 5 to 15, and from 82 and point south, likely lower 80s with a slight chance for one of those showers or storms. So most spots will remain dry for the next few days. We have some cloud cover that stretches all the way from North Mississippi back into southeastern Texas. There's a little disturbance. Look at that little swirl there. Southeast of Dallas. That little disturbance will be coming our way tonight, and it will be with us tomorrow. And there's an opportunity for a little bit of rain here for our Wednesday and Thursday. Perhaps a slightly better opportunity as we get into Friday and the weekend. Temperatures will go up, humidity levels will be going up, and our rain chance is ticking up just a little bit here. Here's our hour-by-hour forecast tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock. Can't rule out an isolated shower, especially where we have a little bit of light rain right along the northern tier tonight, but most of you will not have it. Upper 50s to low 60s. Notice how likely more clouds than sunshine during the course of the day, but we should still warm into the mid to upper 70s by midday, if not into the lower 80s by the afternoon. Just a few blips out there on Futurecast suggesting there's that remote chance for a little bit of rain. As we get into Thursday, much the same story, perhaps a little bit more sunshine here, but we can't discount the chance for one of those isolated showers or storms. And we'll just carry over that general trend here for your Saturday and Sunday, mid to upper 80s going into the weekend. And here's the big trend, just warmer weather coming our way as we go through the weekend into next week. So low 80s tomorrow or 70s, 84 Thursday, mid to upper 80s through the weekend into early next week with some storms around, overnight lows in the 60s.
Some area students get a special send-off and recognition for their hard work. We take a look when we come back. Welcome back, everyone. The Mississippi Department of Public Safety honors the agency's officers killed in the line of duty. 27 Mississippi Highway Patrolmen have been killed in the line of duty since the agency was created in 1938. This annual ceremony was held virtually due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Governor Tate Reeves has ordered flags be flown at half-staff on Friday to honor the fallen troopers. 9 troopers have died from gunfire. 9 others were killed in automobile crashes, including Trooper Tommy Owens of Columbus and Master Sergeant Steve Hood. He was the last trooper to die in the line of duty that happened in 2009 near the Lee-Prentice County line. He was in a pursuit and his vehicle crashed. Students graduating with an associate's degree in nursing enjoyed a unique pinning ceremony at Northeast Mississippi Community College. The nurses-to-be received their diploma covers, pins, honor cords, and certificates, and other mementos in a drive-by ceremony. Many of the graduates already have jobs lined up and will be working on the front lines in the fight against COVID-19. The drive-by pinning was held to help keep social distancing guidelines while recognizing these students' hard work. Now, some of those healthcare workers already on the job, they got a sweet treat today thanks to First American National Bank and SNOWIE Shaved Ice. The SNOWIE bus made a stop at the NMMC Women's Center, providing free snow cones to workers throughout the afternoon. The SNOWIE bus also made its way to the Behavioral Health Center after the stop at the Women's Center.
And they are putting their lives on the line every single day, and for us to be able just to show a small token of our gratitude is the least we could do.
It's just important for us to show these workers that people in the community really support them and we're thinking about them, and we want to give them a little bit of encouragement and a sweet treat to let them know that we're thinking about them during this time.
Now, the IHS Indians Cheer Squad helped make and hand out the snow cones to the healthcare workers. A local championship-winning softball coach is on the move. More from Tupelo next in sports.
Here's sports with Tom Ebel.
Tupelo Athletics has had a busy month, hiring a new athletic director, a new football coach. Now the Golden Wave will be in search of a new softball coach. KOSSUTH hires Tupelo head softball coach Dana RHEA to the same position. The Daily Journal was the first to report. RHEA led the Lady Golden Wave to an 83-35 record in 5 seasons, bringing a fast-pitch state championship to Tupelo in 2017. Mississippi State women's basketball is set to face UConn for the first time since the Bulldogs ended the Huskies' 111-game winning streak. Mississippi State selected to play in the 2020 Women's Hall of Fame Challenge in Connecticut. The Bulldogs will face Maine in Game 1, with UConn on the other side of the bracket facing Quinnipiac. In ESPN's Way Too Early women's basketball rankings, the Bulldogs are projected as the number 3 team in the country, with the Huskies right behind them at number 4. The NBA has canceled its 2020 G League Elite Camp, which served as a scouting event during the draft process. 5 players in the 2019 NBA draft were drafted because of their performance at the camp. Former Ole Miss Rebel Terrence Davis, who went undrafted, excelled in day 3 of the camp and received a contract with the Toronto Raptors. Jackson, Mississippi native and NBA champion and all-star point guard Mo Williams has been named the head men's basketball coach at Alabama State. Williams spent the past 2 seasons at California State University at Northridge, coaching under Mark Gottfried, who coached Williams at Alabama in his college career. That's it for sports. We'll be back right after the break.
All right, here's our 7-day forecast for your Wednesday, Thursday. Chance for a shower storm. Most spots will not see it. A slightly better opportunity for some of those scattered showers and storms going through the weekend. Temperatures getting back into the mid to upper 80s this weekend, lows into the 60s. Summertime heat, more humidity back in play here as we get closer and closer to the end of May. This is about where we should be for this time of year, actually getting a little bit above average now.
Yeah, and straight storms, that's what we can expect
That's
this
what goes
time of
on.
year.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All summer long.
Thanks, Keith. Thank you for joining us, everyone. Have a great night.